What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. I just kind of want to start this video by talking about a little row I got into today with a individual online that was talking about how if your Pokemon cards have factory defects, that they are not, that TCG won't sell them. And so I had to hit him with the well, actually, and he didn't like that very much, and it was a little bit of a back and forth, and then he eventually just stopped responding. But it just shows how little information there is. And I mean, when you go to the TCG Player website, and you try to look up card condition list, or anything like that, you really can't find it. And I tried a lot, and it's not something you can just find on their website. So the way I ended up finding it is that I went to Google, and in the search bar just went card condition list or whatever. And then it directed me to TCG Player. Anyway, I just want to start the video by talking about that, because it was just kind of like a silly interaction I had with just somebody that, like I said, I don't really feel like they know, or if they do, they were just kind of, I don't know what the deal was, but it was funny. Anyway, no, today I kind of want to talk about, so I stumbled upon an article that was in reference to PlayStation and Sony as of January 2028 will no longer be making physical copies. Everything will be digital come 2028. But the article wasn't really talking so much about that, but they were talking about how Nintendo will probably go their own way, and we won't have to worry about Nintendo going the route of a full digital. But the thing I want to point out, and the thing that nobody's really talking about, and something that maybe a lot of people don't even know, is that from the jump with the Switch, those little cartridges you get for the games for the Switch, those aren't the game. Those are just physical copies of a license to play the game, which is how Nintendo still has it within their means to not allow you to play a game. So if you it's something we've known since the launch of Switch 2, that if you modify your console in any way, if you try to modify your Switch 2 to run ROMs or emulators, then they can break your system. Now, the same goes with their games. Even though you have a physical copy of Tears of the Kingdom, they can still just strip that away from you. They just have to deactivate that code, which is part of the reason why so many of their games you have to be online to play, so that they can know. And I'm not sure how it is with the Switch 2. I don't own one, but I know that with the Switch 1, I mean, you had to be online to do anything with the Switch 1. And part of that is because those little cartridges, like I said, those tiny little cartridges, those aren't the game. Those are just a license to play the game. You still have to go through the download process. You still have to get patches, and you still have to get updates and all that stuff. It's the same thing. And as far as Sony and Microsoft are concerned, the issue is that since the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, it's been the same situation. You might be buying discs, but you're just buying physical copies of a code. And so for everybody to be super uppity all of a sudden that Sony's going to be digital only, and you're not going to be able to buy physical discs of your favorite games, or your favorite God of War games, or your favorite walk here and interact with cutscene games, God of War, Spider-Man, Last of Us, Uncharted, Tomb Raider, the list goes on. people that are fans of Sony are people that don't actually like to play video games. But that's a whole thing for another time. But yeah, no. Every game you ever bought for the Xbox One or from the Xbox One to Xbox Series X, and same thing with PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, those aren't actually video games. Those are just codes to play video games. You're not actually buying a physical copy of anything. It's the reason why when Anthem servers shut down, even if you had a physical copy of Anthem, you couldn't play it. There's no such thing as playing offline because there has to be, you have to connect to a server to register that code to be able to play. And again, I think it's something a lot of people aren't really talking about. And it's like some big gasp moment when Sony pulls the rug and says, we're not doing anything physical anymore. And we haven't gotten a real physical game in the better part of a decade. And now all of a sudden people are upset about it because now they're not getting a code on a disc or a cartridge. It's absurd. It's such a weird, like, it's so strange too, that to think that they're just there's this weird thing where it's like, oh, well, the cost of producing physical copies of games is the cost is skyrocketed or whatever, when it's really like there's no argument you could make that would convince me that that doing things digital, like making it all digital, because let's face it, at the end of the day, when everything goes digital, they're still going to charge you $80 to play the game. And there's, the cost of making games is so much. Well, now you're not paying for any type of distribution. You're not paying for manufacturing. You're not paying for packaging. You're not paying for marketing or anything like that. They literally don't have to pay for marketing anymore. I mean, it's something that I've been shouting about for a long time, is that they don't even have to pay for marketing. Literally a week before the game comes out, they send a test copy to people on Twitch and people on YouTube, and these guys do all the marketing for them. Yeah, you might see stuff after the game launches for support content like DLC and things like that, but who are we kidding? They don't pay for marketing anymore. When was the last time you saw an actual trailer for a video game? I mean, back in the 90s, Paul Rudd was in a Super Nintendo commercial. When was the last time you saw a real commercial for a new console coming out or a new video game coming out? I think even Elijah Wood was in a commercial for Nintendo. My point is, they're not paying for those things anymore. So how are the prices going up? And there have been plenty of surveys done and plenty of there have been plenty of studies done to show that the cost of producing a video game has actually gone down significantly, like 60-70% over the last 20 years. But they still want to sit here and cry, oh, well, prices, and now the big thing is just blaming everything on tariffs. Get out of my face with that. That's ridiculous, dude. Tariffs? What tariffs? Especially if you're doing everything digitally. Tariffs. Oh, I didn't know there was an import tax on digital content. Get out of my face with that, dude. You are so delusional. And anybody that buys all this crap, you guys are delusional too. Got me heated in here thinking about tariffs and stuff like that on the price of production of video games. Maybe you don't have 300 people work on the same video game, then maybe it won't suck. And maybe it won't be so riddled with bugs that you don't have to have a day one patch. You ever think about that? I mean, look at the team that built the first Halo game, dude. That was a masterpiece, and it was built by a small team of people that all worked in the same sweaty office together, but they all had a passion to make the best video game that ever existed. All right? The team that brought us Ocarina of Time, a small group of guys that all just had a passion for making the best game they could with the best story and the best gameplay and on the best machine of the time for what they wanted to accomplish. No, now we've got these overbloated, overpaid, prima donnas that think that they're the greatest thing to happen since sliced bread. And when they make some mediocre, half-baked pile of garbage, they want $80 out the door for it. And they say, well, I worked on this. What did you do? You're telling me the team that built... So the original team that built Destiny is not the team that worked on Destiny 2 that caused it to flop. They went through so many regime changes, and they got bought out, and then they went independent, and then they got bought by Sony. I mean, Bungie is an absolute joke and a fading shadow in the sun of the company that Bungie used to be. Are you kidding me? And we gotta battle passes to pay for all of our stuff that we want to do. How about you just focus on making a good game that we want to pay $60 for? And then let us finish that game and move on to a different game. The live service model is killing gaming too. But this whole transition over to digital only, and I'll just end with this. The whole thing, like I said, the people, clutching their pearls. Oh, I can't believe they're going to digital. No, shut up. They've been on digital only for almost 10 years. Longer than that, actually. You're just, I have a disc. Your disc has a code on it, dude, that allows you to download the game. Shut up. Makes me so mad, dude. And we let it get to this, too. Don't get me wrong. We're all guilty of it, but it's why I've stopped supporting video games. I've stopped supporting all of them. I mean, we have Xboxes and stuff like that at our house, and we have a Switch, but I'm not even going to buy the Switch 2 for Ocarina of Time Remake, and I've talked about that in a video. But anyway, those are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments. Make sure you like, subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video. Have a good night.